Hi, I'm Balaji Chippada and welcome back to my YouTube channel. In continuation of our Python series for data science, in this video, let's learn about break, continue, and pass. Let's take a scenario 1 where you are iterating through a list of elements and you want to execute this for loop based on a specific condition. That is where break statement will help you. Inside for loop, if a condition is met, apply break. Then it will exit the loop. And in the second scenario, let's say based on a specific condition, you want to go to the next iteration rather than executing the whole code below that. That is where continue will help you. And pass is basically a no operation statement, and it is used when the statement is syntactically required but you don't want to execute any of the code. Listening to all of these might be a little bit complex, so let's dive into the code part and understand all of these statements with code examples. So let's get started. Now let's understand the syntax of break. So let's say I have a for loop initialized and we have learned about for loops in the previous videos, and inside for loop I have an if else condition. And what I'm saying is if my condition is true, break this loop, else continue with the else part. Okay. Now let's take an example. I have a variable called numbers in which I have list of elements 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and my task is to find out the number 3. Find number 3, and if I find the number 3, I don't want to do anything after this. So what I would do is I will initiate a for loop across these numbers. So at every time, at every iteration, the number variable num is loaded with the elements 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So first it will be loaded with value 1, and we will check if the value 1 is equal to 3. Because it is not equal to 3, it will do a print of this. If you see, indentations for if and print are at the same level, and this print is at the different level. That means if this condition is true, then only it will do this print, or else it will go back to this point. I hope that is clear. And in the second iteration, the value will become num value will become 2, and it will check if number 2 is equal to 3. Because it is not a valid one, it will print the number 2. And in the third iteration, the value will become 3, and because the number 3 is equal to 3, which is a valid, it will print this statement found 3, and it will do a break. So what break will do is it will come outside of this loop. It will not execute this print statement, or else it will not go back to this for loop. It is completely coming outside of this for loop. Now execute this and understand the output. So we have 1 in the first iteration and we have 2 in the second iteration, and when the number is equal to 3, we print this statement and we did a break. That means it came out of this loop and it didn't even print this print num as well. I hope that is clear. Now let's take an example with else as well. So I have a list of numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm saying if my number is equal to 4, break, and then print num. So what will happen in this scenario? For or else is a single statement, right? Or a single loop. If I am saying whenever we found the number equal to 4, we said break. That means the whole for loop got exited after the statement is executed, break. And then we came to this print outside of the loop, and that is what we got the output. In the first iteration, it will check for the number 1 is equal to 4 or not. Because it is not, it will print the number. In the second iteration we have 2, and 2 is not equal to 4, it will print the number as well. And in the third iteration we have a number as 3, and 3 is not equal to 4, that is why we print the 3. And in the fourth iteration we have 4 is equal to 4, and we did a break. And because all of this for loop got exited because of the break statement, it came to the print which is outside of this for loop, and it did a print of outside of the for loop. I hope that is clear. And what if I give number equal to 5? Let's execute this. If you see now, because for every iteration in this for loop, we didn't get this if condition to be valid. That is why we didn't break the statement, and it got all the iterations for the for loop, and it went to the else block, and then it printed in the else block. And once this execution is done, it printed this one, which is print outside of the for loop. I hope that is clear. If you have any queries so far in the session, please let me know in the comment section below. And now let's talk about continue statement. Now let's say I have variable numbers in which I have values 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and I want to only print odd numbers. Okay, so how I would do it? So first I would iterate through my list and I'm checking if each number or element divisible by 2 is equal to 0. That means it's an even number, so that I don't want to print this statement. Okay, I am printing this so that we'll understand what is happening, but I don't want to print the number. So what I'm saying is continue. What it will do is, first it will check for this condition, and if condition is valid, it will print this one, and the next line we have continue. What this will do is, it will not execute this line or whatever below this, and it will go to the next iteration. Now let's take an example and understand this. So let's execute this. So what is happening in the first loop? The num is 1 and 1% 2 is not equal to 0. That is why we got the output 1. And in the second iteration we have number equal to 2. Okay, and then because number percent 2 equal to 0, we will print this statement and we will not print the number 2, because we have a continue statement. And because of continue statement, the next element will become 3, and because 3 is not an even number, it will not go through this if condition and it will print the number. And likewise for 4, it is an even number, we are skipping the even number, and likewise 5, we are printing the number because it is not a valid if condition. I hopefully that is clear to each and every one of you. The next one is pass. Pass statement is basically a no operation statement. It is used when the statement is syntactically required. So what is this? Let's understand pass by getting this example. So in the first iteration, we have num as 1, and because 1 is not equal to 4, it will not go inside this if loop, but it will do a print of number which is 1, which is valid. And for the next iteration, number is 2 and it will print the number 2, and the next iteration 3, print 3. Now what happens in case of 4? When number is 4, we are saying if number is equal to 4, that means this is a valid statement. Then print found 4 and not doing anything, so print statement is executed, and I did a pass. So what did this pass do? It did nothing. It continued to print the same number 4 and then moved on to for the next iteration, which is number 5. So pass is basically, it does nothing. So why do we need it? Let me give you an example. Let's say I want to create a function, and we will learn about functions in the next video. So I'm just giving you an example. Let's say I'm creating a function saying add numbers and a comma b. And I don't want to write anything inside this code, and I want to continue writing print hi. So if I execute this, Python will throw an error saying that there is nothing inside this function, and it is an indentation error. So in this case, what I would do is I will write pass. Now this is a valid statement because we have something inside the code and it does nothing. So this is the importance of pass. When you want to create something and you don't want to write anything for now, you can create that as a dummy function or dummy variable, and you can use pass. Hopefully that is clear for you. So that is everything regarding break, continue, and pass. Hopefully you learned something new from this video, and if you are liking the content, please do subscribe and click that bell icon to get notified daily. And we will meet you in the next video. Peace out. Bye bye.